5 Minutes Funnier is back. Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I'm your host, Jimmy England, here with more tips, tricks, and hacks to make you a better comedian. Although in this particular episode, I'm going to stress again about how important it is for change, and I'm going to do that by showing you what happened to somebody who didn't make changes, who got stuck in the past in a very, very big, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, sad way. I'm going to talk about Mae West. Now, Mae West was born in 1893. She earned her first bit of notoriety in 1926 with a play that she wrote called Sex. A few years ago here in Canada, the Shaw Festival put it on, and I had a chance to go down and see it. And it was not a comedy play by any stretch of the imagination. It centered mostly around the prostitute, and in doing so, she didn't make the prostitute a bad person. This is really what the authorities were objecting to. She was doing something here that took that lifestyle and said, no, it's okay, you can still do that and still be an honorable person, and they really took exception to that. She was very much against censorship. She was very much in favor of gay rights, with limitations. In her autobiography written back in the 70s, she said that, you know, it's okay to be gay or what have you as long as you keep it private. So that's not really what we would call the prevailing opinion, but you have to remember this woman was born in 1893. Just conceding that was something. She got called to Hollywood in 1932 and started making movies, and George Raft, who was in her very first movie, said that she basically stole every scene. As a matter of fact, when she was in the scene, she stole everything but the cameras. And by 1933, she was the biggest draw in the U.S. For Screen Stars. She made the most money of any other woman, and she was second only to William Randolph Hearst when it came to income. In 1934, the production code came in that meant you couldn't get away with a lot of the stuff you used to be able to get away with. She wrote a series of very funny shows, very funny movies. She was a big star, and then it began to slide away. And unfortunately, it meant that she was having a harder time as well getting movies, and she went into a lull where she went 23 or 27 years before she would make another movie. She let all that stuff slide away. She did some stuff on the road, doing some shows, usually with a lot of He-Man. She was getting older by this time, but she was still cultivating this image of this desirable woman who men had to have. During that lull, when she wasn't performing on stage, she actually turned down some very, very good roles. In particular, Nora Desmond in Sunset Boulevard, one of my favorite movies. And what was happening, I think, and I can only speculate here, that she did not want to be thought of as anything less than desirable. Everything she did that's how she promoted her image, and that's how she saw herself. And it would be the 1970s before she made another movie, and that would be Myra Breckinridge. You can look it up if you're wondering why you don't see it too often. Well, it was a very troubled production, and again, I could see why she gravitated towards it, because it was also a very provocative idea. Which brings us to her final film in 1978, which was odd to say the least. The woman was now 83 years old, and she made a movie in which she wrote it. It was from a script she wrote in 1959. When she finally got around to filming it, she was now 85 years old. And it's an odd movie because it's set in the present, but she has this peculiarity. She's dressed like a Floridora girl from the gay 90s of the 1890s. She's got this big, huge hair and these big long gown costumes, and all the guys are supposed to be falling all over her. At the same time, she cannot remember her lines anymore, and she's hard of hearing, and they end up putting a speaker in her wig so that she can kind of hear her lines when she needs to. She didn't just go in there and make the movie with some nobody. She had some big name people in there, classics of their generation. George Raft, Tony Curtis, Timothy Dalton, Walter Pidgeon. But curiously enough, she also had very modern stars like Ringo Starr, Alice Cooper, Dom DeLuise, Rona Barrett. But none of them could save this particular movie. And unfortunately, it did not do well. It was not the great coda to a great career, but she continued to be who she was at a time when maybe she should have changed. So if there's anything I'm trying to teach you here with this long-winded, I promised you last episode this one would be longer, episode about Mae West. It's that it's very important that you do change, not just to hold down your legacy if you have one, but really to stay on top. Whether you're a star of film, theater, whatever, you really have to reflect what's going on around you. That's what George Carlin did when he went from the hippy-dippy weatherman to the George Carlin we know with the 7 words you can't say on TV. Richard Pryor, who used to be a knockoff of Bill Cosby, but he turned into his own unique man of the 70s. You have to reflect the times, and you have to reflect who you are. I've said it before, I don't do millennial jokes as if I'm a millennial. I'm not. I'm clearly not. So try and change, try and be modern. Well, that's it for 5 Minutes Funnier. I am Jimmy England, your host. As ever, please subscribe to the channel. We'd like to build our base if we can do that. Recommend us to your friends. Please comment down below. I would love to hear what you thought of Mae West, if you even know who she is, and of Sextet as well. So feel free to drop me a line down below and let me know, or email me if you like. But as always, stay funny, everybody.